1956 was both a good year and a bad year for John Wayne. Because one of his best movies, The Searchers, came out that year. Actually, I think this is his best movie. Well, his best Western. And a lot of his movies are great, especially this one, a masterpiece. But one of his worst movies also came out a couple months prior. The Conqueror is where he plays Genghis Khan of all people. Yeah, the Mongolian conqueror who started the Mongol Empire. Yeah, he's put an Asian guy is played by a white guy with a cowboy accent. Pretty funny. Sounds terrible on paper. Sounds worse on screen. I don't know why John Wayne wanted to do this. I guess he wanted to do like an Errol Flynn type of movie, like swashbuckling action, because he never done action packed sword fighting movie before. Well, he's done action all throughout his career, but never like a sword fighting role, except maybe as a cavalryman with a sword. But he barely used a sword in the cavalry movies. But this one is a part of a 10 movie John Wayne collection, and unfortunately, when I got it in the mail, I ordered it on Amazon, and it came in this broke up, messed up package. That's one thing I hate about ordering stuff from Amazon. And they come in these sets like this. They usually come in messed up, and they just, ugh, just oh God, I should have gotten this at Walmart where it would have been in better shape. But I didn't get this recently. I bought it last year along with this, and anyway, the movie. It's produced by Howard Hughes. Yeah, the guy, the aviator that Leonardo DiCaprio played in that great masterpiece directed by Martin Scorsese. I highly recommend that. It is a lot better than this junk that he produced. Um, it is a adventure story about the origins of Genghis Khan, who was known in his early days as by his real name Temujin, and Temujin meets this beautiful lady named Bortai, who's also I think Genghis Khan's real life wife and real, because at the beginning there's a text that said this movie is fiction based on fact, and yeah, so it's fiction, so it gives them a lot of ways to use creative liberties, and I don't mind that in a historical fiction film if it's they're telling you that it's fiction, not presenting it as fact, and the the cast, most of them are white guys or Hispanic guys. We got John Wayne, Lee Van Cleef in a small role, Susan Hayward. Oh, there's girls in here too, women in here too, not just guys. And the woman who plays uh, Temujin's mother, I forget the actress's name, but I heard that she was only like a few years older than John Wayne, even though she does look like she's old enough to be John Wayne's mother. I mean, John Wayne was I think he was in his late 40s when he made this. This came out in 56 and he was born in 1907. So he was a year away from 50. He was 49. And you could tell that he did not enjoy doing this his role, his performance, it's like he was sleepwalking through the whole thing. Like, he uses the drawl he uses, but it comes out in like a more tired drawl. Like he's thinking, "What am I doing here?" And even the scene where he's praying to his dead father up in heaven, like the Mongolian heaven, where they actually worshipped heaven. I think they called it the clear blue sky, and their word for at the end of a prayer, I think instead of amen, it was a word sounds similar to the expression we use today called hooray. So I guess they ended their prayer with hooray instead of amen, which is kind of funny. But I mean the prayer scene with John Wayne like praying to his father in heaven, it just lacks like any real expression of emotion or pain, or or desperation. Watch the prayer scene of where Arnold Schwarzenegger Conan prays to Crom and Conan the Barbarian before he gets revenge on his enemies. That is a much more powerful prayer scene than what's in this. And the I do like the location. They shot it in the Gobi Desert in Utah, but that was a big mistake. Even though it is a beautiful location, a lot of the actors in this movie they got sick because this movie was shot downwind of a nuclear radiation test site, and they were testing nuclear bombs that exploded and infected half the cast, including John Wayne and Susan Hayward and Pedro Armendariz. Pedro Armendariz had cancer. I think he offed himself, but and Susan Hayward died of brain cancer in the 70s. John Wayne, he also got can't he had well he did smoke a lot, so I think smoking had more to do with his death. I mean he died he did have lung cancer, but one of his lungs was infected, so he had it removed and but his health was still deteriorating and finally in the 70s he died of stomach cancer, which obviously had something to do with this, along with a smoking habit. And if he hadn't have smoked, and if he hadn't have filmed and that site, we didn't film it. The Dick Powell did. Yeah, this guy who was actor who did a lot of musicals in the 30s and 40s. He wanted to become a director, and he directed this. He wasn't the best choice to direct this. Um, Maybe if Howard Hughes directed it, would have turned out better. But Howard Hughes, he hated the way this movie turned out, and he kept all the copies for himself. But I think he wanted to destroy them because they were never shown on TV or released on home video until several years later. And I remember in the 90s or 2000 in the 90s, I bought this big John Wayne box set with called John Wayne American Hero of the Movies. It had this, The Conqueror, and also had another Howard Hughes produced Wayne film, Jet Pilot, which is a lot better than this one. Well, it's not like a masterpiece, but it's better than this one. More better acted, better written, and the better story. And what makes this movie watchable, even though I mean, as a kid, I loved it, but I mean, as I got older, I realized all the flaws in it. And what makes this enjoyable is action, of course, some swashbuckling fun, cool battle scenes, the the great cinematography, the beautiful Susan Hayward. She's nice to look at, and there's a sexy scene while these belly dancers or whatever they perform this night arousing dance to entertain Temujin and all his buddies in this palace, which is pretty hot. And and yeah, this is John Wayne is more of an anti-hero in this too. Well, he tries to be like I mean, when he meets Bortai at the beginning, he's like, I want this Carter woman. My heart says take her. And he goes back to camp and gets his buddies, and they come back and they attack the caravan and kidnaps Bortai. And then he just like rips her dress off. Well, you don't see her naked because she covers up, but whoa. And then when later scene when he forces himself on her, when he's like resisting, but she finally submits and they make out, and then it cuts away. I mean, it's like, wait, did he just do the R word on a woman? Something you would not expect in a John Wayne movie, especially for John Wayne's character, one of John Wayne's characters to do. But he really does it in this. And of course, I guess she develops Stockholm syndrome because she does fall in love with him. I mean, the romance could have been written better. The whole thing could have been written better. And I heard that John Wayne, he hated this movie so much that whenever somebody mentioned Imogen or Genghis Khan or whatever, he would like shudder because really regretted making this. And yeah, I guess he wanted some Errol Flynn type movie, but he got it. But it came at a terrible price with the nuclear test, killing the entire half the cast. And there aren't even any Asian actors in this. I forgot to mention there's a few Chinese extras, but it's mostly like they cast a lot of white people and Hispanics and a lot of Navajo people because this is filmed near the Navajo tribes in Utah, and they cast them for the horse riding scenes, and they did pretty good with the horsemanship. But that's all. I give this movie thumbs up for what I do like, thumbs down for what I don't like. All right, that's it for now. Thank you and God bless. Bye.